So I got fed up with picking up bits of stone and concrete and so on. So we spent about 500 quid on this rake bucket, which has a gap between the tines of 75 millimeters. It weighs about 80 kilos, so it's a bit of a struggle to get it into the car. Perhaps I should have had it delivered to site, but I didn't know when it would be delivered and if there'd be anyone to receive it. I managed to lever it in. Oh, it's going to slip off that block. I'll hammer the block back under it. Got that fiberglass sheet in the back of the car. That helps protect the inside of the car. It's also slippery, so it makes loading heavy things easier. And there it was, sat in there overnight. It was a bit wobbly, but I thought it'd be alright if I go slow. So the next day was after that storm, a tree down there.
There's a man called Philip Min.
And here we are, arriving. The muck away pile. It's gone now. Unloading is a lot easier than loading. Will it fit? Yeah, fits like a glove. So never having used one of these before, wasn't quite sure how to use it. So initially I had this time lapse, but it's a bit jerky. I mean, basically, it's just scoop stuff up and the rocks stay in and the other stuff drops down. So I have to get some stuff to scoop up with it. So we're back in our big hole again. Some more videos of this big hole coming. I'm just shaking it. I've been using it quite a bit since then. I've refined my technique a bit, so hopefully I'm a bit more productive. One of the dangers is you end up double handling the spoil, like what I'm doing there. The spoil is falling out very near where I'm scooping back in again. And sometimes there's remarkably little stone in the soil, which is frustrating. But we've used it a fair bit. I've used it almost probably three days of digging out and moving material. Half the time using this bucket. We've moved enough stuff that would otherwise have made my hands very sore, I think. That's a better bucket. Paula said I should stop shaking sooner. This is almost the first time I've used it, so that may be why I don't look very expert with it. So my technique now is to lift it up, not try and get too much on, and keep it at the same angle while I move it away from where I've dug the material, so the soil doesn't start falling off too soon. Going back for another bite of the cherry. Yeah, I'm pushing it back over the soil to stop the soil from falling out before I've got away from where I'm digging the stones up. Every now and then a stone gets stuck in the teeth, but mostly it doesn't. Mostly it's pretty good. Now I'm trying to scoop up some of those rocks that look quite big but have already fallen through once. And to be honest, they'll probably fall through again, mostly those because it's slots rather than holes. It does depend which way round a stone is, whether it will go through. I'm not very organised. I've got material that needs sifting on the left and the right. Once this hole got bigger, we were able to have a pile that we were extracting stone from on the left, and a pile of soil that had the stones had been removed from on the right. So look, that's nearly everything's fallen through that. I'm feeling frustrated watching this because I feel like I'm doing a better job now. Perhaps I need to make another video. And that's definitely, that's a scoop almost entirely of stuff that's already been through the bucket once. My fingers are shaking trying to do that action. I spent all day yesterday pretty much driving this machine, and maybe half of it was, nah, probably not half, but a good proportion of it was spent sitting there jiggling stones out of the bucket. So why are we collecting these stones? Well, for one thing, we don't particularly want large stones in material that we're using as fill anywhere, because we know we may have to dig on those areas, and we don't want big stones. And the other thing is they're a valuable resource. Our property is called the quarry, so it seems nice that we're able to quarry stone, even if it is a bit of a vanity project. So we're planning to use quite a lot of this stone in gabions, and some of the bigger bits maybe we'll build some dry stone walls. Don't normally do these non-time-lapse videos. But as a time-lapse, this doesn't really work. You can't really see what's going on. And I can tell you that's too much soil. Get some of it out before I even start. Sometimes you get a rock teetering on top of the soil, and then you have to juggle it about so it doesn't fall straight off, especially if you're on your soil pile. I must admit I have done quite a lot of... There's a rock, look, see it? And got to jiggle it down. There. Oh, that's a nice big load. Satisfying when you get that many. Now we're going to Now we're going to time-lapse mode. It's a bit like a grading bucket in its shape. Yeah, I was saying, I must admit, I have jumped out of the cab and picked up stones that looked too good to lose. Because they're slits rather than holes. If you have a long or large but flat stone that's less than 75 millimeters, it can slip through. The other day I was thinking, well, if these were potatoes, you wouldn't throw them away. But to be fair, they're not potatoes, they're stones. Are stones worth as much as potatoes? I think they're not. I do wish I'd bought this bucket a long time ago. So you can do a bit of light digging with it as well. So there I'm pulling the soil down, but there are bits where it doesn't seem the right thing to do to be trying to dig out the bank with this bucket because the bank is too hard in places. So we go back to a digging bucket. When it's going well, it's satisfying, but when there's not much to find, it can get a bit frustrating how slow it is. Now I'm going over the same soil that I've already gone over, which is a bad idea. I shouldn't do that. And off the stone goes to another pile. And then of course we have to load out the soil out of the hole, because that's the whole point. And it's the end of the day. Bye.